G'day and welcome to Cities Skylines. We're back in Amity Bay, a modded Let's Play series on my channel. So in this video, I think it's time we introduce trains to the city. I love the trains in Cities Skylines. To be honest, most modes of transport are quite cool, but the trains are fun. So yeah, more of an infrastructure video today rather than expanding our city. When I'm thinking about mass transit in my city, I like to plan it out a little bit. And there's a few reasons for this, especially with trains. The key thing here is that you don't want to run all the trains on the same track, or you'll just get bottlenecks as your city grows with cargo trains, passenger trains, and everything will just grind to a halt. So if we look at a CSL map view of Amity Bay here, we can see we have a single train line, the line in black and white there if you can see that. And that runs through our map from north to southwest with a wee bend in the middle where we built our suburb of Fairview. So what we ideally want to do here is create a second one, and that way we have two lines connected to the outside of the map, and we can use one for cargo and one for passengers. The cargo line, we can have various cargo terminals nicely spread out. What I also like to do is when I put down a cargo terminal, I build a separate line off to the side. That way, the cargo trains can pull in to unload and reload, while the main line can still be used as a bypass for cargo trains that are travelling straight past and onto somewhere else. And we can eventually branch off if we need to. We have nothing running out connecting the west side of our map, so probably eventually we'll do a cargo rail interchange and take a line out to the west and terminate with another outside connection there too. Then our second line will just run side by side with our cargo line, and it will also terminate with outside connections at each end. Then the most effective way I've found to set that up is just one or two stations. I know this sounds crazy, but one station, or at the very most two, which are set up to allow intercity trains, and that one station is then used as a train hub where other local lines branch out from. So everybody who wants to go to and from the region have to arrive at our hub, change trains, and then catch a regional service. And that regional line, or lines, are on a separate line to the intercity line. Again, so we're not clogging it up with tons of trains and finding it all grinds to a halt. So back to our CSL map here, my plan would be for our downtown to eventually be roughly where the blue trapezoid is there, then something like the multi-platform end station quite central, which will then give us 6 lines, 1 for intercity arrivals and departures, and 5 for regional lines to various parts of our map. And I think that'll be pretty effective at keeping our rail lines efficient and moving, whilst maximising the ability for our sims and cargo to move around. And whilst it's a bit of planning and work up front, as we expand in every direction here, we'll thank ourselves later on that we set up the backbone and framework early on. Okay, let me make a start on this, and while I do, let's fast forward. Now let's take a look at what I've done here. So first things first was the additional rail line. So I used Network Multi-Tool's parallel mode and put an identical rail line side by side with the existing one. I'm quite happy with the placement of the original one we had, so I've just doubled up on that one, created the new outside connections at each end there. If I turn off the edge fog, you can see that properly there. So that's all set up now, which is great. We can control what types of stations we put down, cargo or passenger, but it won't actually stop, say, a cargo train going from one end to the other on our passenger line, unfortunately. We don't have that level of control, but this is good enough. After that was all set up, I came in here and created our first cargo terminal. Probably these two are slightly too close together, but there's method to my madness here. If we extend this farm and extend this industrial area out, then we're going to pile the pressure onto a single cargo train terminal here. So I've put one at each end to future-proof it basically. So this one down here, let's rename it so we know what it's for. This one will primarily service the farm we set up here. We also had this advanced incineration plant, so I've moved it down and will incorporate it into a little detailing here later on. I've put a little roundabout on the end here, and that's so we don't get the cargo traffic crisscrossing each other, because we can't change the side they use to import or export. So by popping a roundabout on the end, they won't be blocking each other trying to get in and out. Then you can see my slip lane here, and what I did was change the speed on it as well. So that way there's no chance of other trains trying to use it as they stay on the faster side there, keeping this side free just for loading and unloading. As we follow this line up here, you'll see I put in a tunnel. That's because I wanted this next cargo train terminal to sit on this side of the road, and with the extra line it wouldn't work. So I've sunk it down and brought it back up further along, then we don't need to try and take it up and over or anything weird. This one has the same type of slip lane with the speed altered as well, and this one is already being used for industry imports and exports. So I'm quite happy with that. We've got our dedicated cargo line with outside connections, our dedicated passenger line with outside connections for when we're ready to add a station or two, and we've set up the cargo train terminals, so there'll be a much more efficient way of getting goods in and out and reduce the trucks on our roads as well, so definitely a good investment for the city. So now this is all built out and running smoothly, let's detail it up a little bit. So quite a short speed detail there, mostly because the detailing is a lot of containers and crates and things like that again, and I think once you've seen that a few times, you get the picture. So let's take a look at how this all turned out. Starting down this end, some fencing, containers and a truck unloading here, I mirrored what we'd done previously with this container crane here, making it look like the trucks pull up and it lifts the containers off the back there. Then just a little bit of farming industry and generic industry as well, almost like these are farming storage buildings that are used by the farm before everything is transported away by rail, and it just livens up the cargo terminal. Then along these tracks, I didn't like the way the cliff texture looked. I don't mind it if it's a gentle slope, but these were quite a sharp slope and it looks all janky. So I covered it all up with the rocks and grasses or bushes here, then on the other side just some repeated greenery along there. Then up and around the bend here, the other cargo train terminal. This one I put some rails out the side like it has a little shunting yard or storage yard for the cargo rail cars. I just think it looks super cool and just adds something different to the vanilla cargo train terminal. Then just some repeated detailing here, the crane, the containers, some parking, fencing, and then in with the greenery to help it all settle in with the surroundings. And that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. If you're on Discord, jump over to my Discord community and say hi. And until next time, take care, have a great day, and thanks again for watching.